It's recap time. 3, 2. Hey, quick interruption, Future Chip here. If you're coming from the previous video and you already know the drill, you can skip directly to the recap. Otherwise, if this is your first time, I'll let you with the intro and enjoy the episode. 1. Hello everybody and welcome to the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host Chip and this is not my usual intro. This is a bit of a special episode. Unfortunately, I will be away for a few days and I found out this interesting way of filling the gaps with recaps from previous episodes. If this is your first time here, use it as an opportunity to find topics that you might be interested in and go back to listen to the original ones. If you are a usual listener of the Shower Podcast, well, again, this might be a rehearsal of topics that you might be interested in. Otherwise, I understand if you want to wait for me to be back. But in the meanwhile, the podcast needs to continue and we need to reach day 365. Having said that, I will not keep you longer. Thank you very much for listening. As always, a like and a subscribe. They are always welcome. And now, recap time.
Welcome to the deep dive. So we heard you. You reached out asking for a really quick but comprehensive look at a few recent productivity ideas.
Yeah, ideas that are all about cutting down on friction and just, being more consistent. And we have a pretty unique set of sources for this one.
We really do. Today we're pulling out the key ideas from 3 weekend drops by host Chip on his other show, the one he records, and yes, we have to say it, literally in the shower.
The context is pretty funny, but the ideas themselves are incredibly sharp. We're looking at episodes 332, 333, and 334.
And there's this one thread that just runs through all three of them. It's this idea of fighting back against inertia, against information overload by using just radical simplicity.
Right. And just a quick note, if any of these ideas we break down today really click for you, we definitely encourage you to go find the original episodes. You'll get the full context straight from Chip.
But for right now, this is the shortcut. The mission is pretty simple. Get rid of the complexity so you can finally get moving.
Okay, so let's start with the first one, episode 332. This one is all about execution, and it's called the Single Task Sprint, the STS.
The STS, yeah. And it goes right after what is, I think, the biggest problem in modern work, multitasking.
Exactly. We think we're juggling things effectively, but the source material puts it so perfectly. It says, when you hold 3 things in your head, you don't get triple progress, you get triple drag.
That phrase, triple drag, just... it lands, doesn't it? Because it's not just the time you lose switching tabs.
No, not at all.
It's the mental energy. Your brain is constantly fighting to remember where you left off with task A, what was next for task B, and if you should even bother starting task C.
That's it. It's the cognitive cost of context switching. It's this invisible thief that just drains your energy, and the STS is basically the antidote.
So the idea is you cut out the noise, you pick one single thing, you shrink the time you have to do it, and you just finish it.
Right, and the time limit is a really interesting part. It's super specific.
It's 12 minutes, not 10, not 15. 12. I mean, that feels so arbitrary. Why 12?
Well, there's a psychological reason for it. The moment you set a timer for, say, 20 or 30 minutes, your brain starts to negotiate.
Ah, right. Okay, that's a decent chunk of time. I should probably get coffee first.
Exactly. Or let me just check my email one last time. 12 minutes is just too short to have a debate about. It's designed to be a single burst, just enough to punch through that initial wall of resistance.
So it's basically a mind trick to get the engine started. But what if your task really does take, 15 minutes? Are you just supposed to stop mid-flow?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of it. The goal isn't always to finish a huge thing. The goal is to beat inertia.
So you're picking what the source calls the smallest obvious task that would make the rest of the day easier.
Right. Think tiny commitments. Reply to that one email you've been avoiding. Clear the 3 biggest things out of the sink. Just finalize those bullet points for the meeting.
And the sources also say you should say it out loud. I'm doing this and only this. That physical act of commitment helps lock you in.
It does. And you have to expect that friction, The first 30 seconds are always the hardest. That's when your brain screams at you to do literally anything else.
And the advice there is to just take the first 2 steps immediately. Don't even argue with the feeling.
Yeah, so for example, if you're writing a report, don't think about writing the whole section. Just open the document and type 3 subheadings. That's it.
Or if it's a physical task, like tidying a messy counter.
You don't plan it out. You just start with whatever your hand touches first and put it away.
Yeah.
The mantra is, keep your eyes on 1 square meter. Keep the focus tiny.
I love that. It protects you from getting overwhelmed inside that 12-minute window. And then there's the stop rule, which is just as important.
Oh, totally. When that timer goes off, you stop, period. It reinforces the discipline. If you did finish, you leave a little breadcrumb for your future self.
A breadcrumb? What do you mean?
Like a quick note, or you highlight a line, or you leave the next browser tab you'll need open, and then you walk away.
So you get that little dopamine hit of a win, even if it's small.
Exactly. It makes it easier to start the next thing later. The whole point of the STS is that clarity beats brute force.
Clarity beats force. I like that. Okay, so the STS handles doing the task, but what if you get stuck before you even start, like at the planning stage?
Well, that's the perfect setup for the next one, episode 333, which is all about avoiding analysis paralysis with something called the 5-line plan, or the FLP.
The FLP. And this is pitched as the antidote to overplanning, which is a trap I think we all fall into.
We really do. You sit down to plan your day, and suddenly you're, as the source puts it, architecting a whole system.
Yeah, you're making this color-coded, cross-referenced masterpiece, and the planning itself becomes the procrastination. The day starts, and you're still planning it.
Right. This is designed to give you just enough structure to get going, but not so much that it creates drag. The description is perfect. Laying out clothes for your day, but in sentences.
Okay, let's break down the 5 lines, because the structure is really rigid, which seems to be the point.
It is. So, line 1. Name the one big thing that, if you got it done, would make tomorrow feel like a success.
And it has to be concrete, right? Not work hard. It has to be something you can see as finished, like submit the report draft.
Exactly. It needs a finish line. Then, lines 2, 3, and 4 are your 3 stepping stones.
And these are crucial. They have to be actual tiny steps, not big concepts. They need to be so small they don't require courage to start.
I love that phrasing, don't require courage. So if your big task is writing a tough email, a stepping stone isn't do research. It's open a new email and draft the subject line.
They're just the keys to unlock the engine.
Precisely. And then the 5th line is what seals the deal. Choose the when and the where you'll start. And that's it. That's the whole plan.
So that 5th line is what behavioral scientists call an implementation intention. It's not just what you'll do, but where and when you're going to do it. It takes the decision out of the moment.
That's the whole psychological magic of it. Our brains hate fog. They hate uncertainty. When the whole path is just 5 lines long, you can see it. It's not this massive, scary to-do list.
And it protects you from what the source calls perfection drift. You know, that feeling that you have to build this perfect system.
Right. You're never obligated to build a cathedral when all you really needed was a door. This plan is just the door.
So the challenge is to write this plan before bed, say it out loud, and stick it somewhere you'll see it first thing in the morning.
Like on your keyboard or next to the coffee maker.
Yeah.
And the number 1 rule is no renegotiating in the morning. You just follow the path.
Okay, so we've got the STS for 12-minute execution and the FLP for 5-line planning. Both are about mental clarity. But the third idea brings our physical space into the mix.
Right. This is episode 334, the tidy loop, or TL. It works from the idea that your physical environment is directly tied to your mental bandwidth.
And the problem it's solving is clutter, which is like the silent attention thief.
It's so insidious. You think you're tuning it out. But every stray thing on your desk, the pile of mail, the extra mug, it's asking your brain a tiny question. What do I do with this?
And all those tiny questions just pile up until you're mentally exhausted. So we wait for that full free hour to reset, which, let's be honest,
It never happens. So the tidy loop turns that big reset into a quick sprint.
Yeah.
It's not deep cleaning, it's just strategic clarity. You're just removing enough visual noise to let the next thing breathe.
And just like the STS, it's a small, specific time block, 10 minutes.
Yep, 10 minutes. So here's the move. You set a timer, loop 1, pick one room, or even just one zone, like your desk or the kitchen counter, and your only job is surfaces.
Just surfaces. So you put away what's on top and maybe give it a quick wipe.
That's it. And the key rule is restraint. The second you find yourself reorganizing a drawer or creating a new filing system, you've failed the loop. The goal is clear space, not a perfect system.
Okay, but what if my desk is fine, but the chair next to it has become a mountain of stuff?
That's where the optional loop 2 comes in. The source says no more than 2 loops total. If you do a second 10-minute sprint, you aim it at one of those hot spots.
The hot spot, right. That one place where everything just seems to accumulate. The chair, that corner of the table.
Exactly. And your job is to empty it completely. Even if that means scooping everything up and moving it to another room to sort later, the visual change is what matters.
And the behavioral psychology behind this is really the main point. The source says you have to stop when the timer ends, even if you feel like continuing. Why is that?
because you need to have energy left over to use the clean space, not just crash after you've finished cleaning.
So visible order changes how you act. A clear desk actually invites you to write.
Yes, you're clearing a runway for the next takeoff. By keeping the loop short, it stays a quick tool, not a big chore you dread.
And the final challenge is to immediately do the thing that the clear space invites. So, desk is clear, open that document you've been avoiding.
Right. You're teaching your brain that clarity isn't some big project you have to schedule. It's a decision you can make in 10 minutes.
You know, the synergy between these three is just, it's fantastic. They all use extreme constraints to beat complexity. A constraint on time, a constraint on planning, a constraint on tidying.
Absolutely. When you put them all together, 12-minute execution, 5-line planning, 10-minute clearing, you get this complete low-effort ecosystem. It proves that small, defined commitments will beat huge, vague goals every single time because they're actually sustainable.
And for you listening right now, these are the high return strategies you're looking for. They don't see your time constraints as a problem, they use them as a tool. The constraint is what forces the simplicity, and the simplicity is what drives the action.
It's all about finding your biggest point of friction and then just applying the smallest possible solution. That's the whole game.
Absolutely. So we'll leave you with a final thought to think about. If you had to put just one of these systems into practice today, the sprint, the plan, or the loop, which one targets your single biggest friction point right now, and why? Just start there.
That answer is your roadmap.
Thank you so much for sharing these sources with us and for joining this deep dive. Stay consistent, stay resilient, and we'll see you tomorrow.